AFC Championship game, a game that will be called by CBS Sports lead NFL analyst Tony Romo, who is at Gillette Stadium in preparation for Sunday's game. I'll butter you up by saying I really do think you've been great this year, but I want you to understand that's being buttered up. The big news, obviously, today is Tom Brady and Tom Brady's thumb and the fact that Tom Brady said when asked, will you play, he said, we'll see. You're a quarterback. If you have an injury to your throwing thumb, how seriously do you take that?
Well, I mean, it's a great question. The one thing I don't want to do, though, is, it's kind of a privilege in some ways for us to be here at the, interviewing these coaches, interviewing Tom. We just got done talking to him, and then also on the practice field, being out there. So I don't think it would be fair from a competitive, situation or to really go into anything on really what happened with Tom or how he feels or any of that stuff. I don't think that would be okay right now. But, I'd say this, for any quarterback in the playoffs, you'll do anything to play. And if you have the opportunity, if Tom Brady can walk, I'm pretty sure he'll end up playing. But, if he can't, then he can't.
Well, to follow up in that same way, and we can make this more general, Tony, going back to your own experiences and guys you've known, are starting quarterbacks of a couple of decades, are they hurt by missing a Friday practice against the scout team? I mean, how much would that matter at this point?
Well, I think the big days that are important sometimes are Thursday and Friday because you're installing new plays. So on Thursday, you're installing usually the third down defense. So it's like, well, how are we going to block their blitzes? So as a quarterback, you want to be able to tell the, running back what to do and be like, listen, when this guy gets here, I'm going to tell you to do this. You're going to signal a play versus a certain coverage and get everyone aware. And then Friday's red zone, which means you're going through all your red zone plays. And when you go through your red zone plays, usually those are new each week. There's a couple of carryover, but there's also a handful of new ones. And so the nuance of that, you want your, specific receiver or someone to run the route a certain way. You want to be out there for that. I would actually argue as long as you're out there, you're okay, especially at Tom's experience level. I think, anytime you're at least around, I think you can talk and communicate. Throwing the football is always a good thing, but that's not going to be something that he's too worried about.
Let's broaden this out to include opponents, actually, Tony. As it turns out, Tennessee was no real match at all for the Patriots. What is it about the Jaguars that you're seeing in advance that ought to make this different, if it will be different?
Well, the easy one is that the defense.
And we'll ask you about the NFC. When you look at the starting quarterbacks in the championship game at the NFC, do you say to yourself, I could have won this thing. I could have done it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'd probably be in it right now. I'm getting ready to go to the Super Bowl after this one, no question. I took a look at all teams. I did the same thing this offseason. I could have played football, and this is the spot you wanted to be in if you came back. And I knew a long time ago, it's a great team game. There's one thing in common. They all have great defenses. I mean, that's just what it takes sometimes. And if you get one, you have an opportunity to, in the NFC right now, for Case Keenum, and Nick Foles, the idea in this game is to create one drive in the second half it's gonna come down to that. There's gonna be one drive you got to go score to help your team win the game. Great quarterbacks do it, other guys, don't. And I think that in this specific game, you don't have to win the game through, you could lose it early. You can throw 2 interceptions in the first quarter and your team's out of it. But, go out there, take a sack if you have to, throw the ball away, take your shots, take them calculated though. One-on-one on the outside, throw the football, let them go. There's 2 guys out there defensively, don't throw that ball. Don't ever give the other quarterback a short field. Make the other guy go 12 plays, 80 yards, over and over and over again. And against those defenses, you're not going to put together a lot of drives. So to me over there, it's going to come down to one possession in the second half as long as no one, turnovers are always the reason, but as long as no one turns the ball over from a quarterback perspective, got to make a drive at the end to go send your team to the Super Bowl.
Thank you so much for being with us. And we really do think you've been terrific in the first year. It's really been good to listen to.
Oh, I appreciate it. It reminds me of back when PTI came on and everyone was talking about you guys. I don't know what happened, but great job, guys.
A long time ago. The AFC Championship game on CBS.